following message is being transmitted at the request of the Boundless PodTrap movie review and the guys of the BPT. What you are about to hear contains spoilers to movies. If you don't want to hear these spoilers, please disengage your listening device at this time. If you can't handle those with a possible differing view on a movie, you may also want to disengage your listening device at this time. Stay tuned for a movie review that only the guys at the Boundless PodTrap can give you.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
It's that time for us to talk about movies. It's the BPT movie review episode. What are we on? This is episode what now of movies?
21.
21.
Don't ask Lonnie. He won't know.
We watched 21 movies. That's cray.
21.
That's cray cray.
It's our movie review podcast is legal.
It's what?
It's legal.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it was legal a while ago. It's legal to drink now.
Well, yeah. And drive.
Oh, I get
Itself.
I get you what you're going with. Over my head. Didn't get that. Okay. Anyways.
In and out. Okay.
Shalom, everybody. Shalom.
Yes. Just so everybody knows, we got a new board, and Justin's going to be messing around with new sound effects. So if all of a sudden we just cut out, it's because of Justin. So
there's this one thing. So everybody talk at the same time. I didn't try this out.
No.
I want to see everybody talk. Just
I don't want
start
to.
talking, and then I'm the one who can duck you and
duck me, and then I'm going to make you go. I think stop having.
See, this is too much power.
Piece of monkey.
Oh boy. Well,
too much power.
That button's going to get worn out quick.
It already did.
It's sticking to my finger.
With Lonnie's potty mouth.
My potty mouth.
Yeah, fuck you. He wasn't on it.
Sorry.
Oh, Justin.
Get your fucking together.
You're scratching your. Okay, and we've lost all of our listeners.
We had listeners.
Put it right in your.
Oh my gosh. Even the mighty Misfit Kings probably stopped listening.
I don't know. I don't know.
I was trying to give them a plug, and you blocked it.
Do it again.
The mighty
hold on.
Misfit Kings just stopped listening to us.
Let's give them some mighty Misfit Kings, a little bit of jazzy style.
Why is it gonna be jazz?
I do have a bone to pick with these guys.
I know that I know for a fact they like Elton John, not jazz.
Let's give it up for our homeboys. Well, Mighty Misfit Kings.
Lemonhead, he's actually going to be doing a little bit of a guitar playing himself. He's kind of a natural Jimi Hendrix. He should write our own stuff. By the time this podcast comes out, he's going to be Jimi Hendrix. Minus the fro.
I just
Current
can't believe
Jimi Hendrix, or when he was alive.
He's not that great now.
Say that.
All right. Anyways, we're here to talk about a movie, and this is
that's what we're here for.
Lonnie. We know he loves this movie.
So hold on, before you go
to
into
another.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What now?
Since I don't have all the things loaded up here,
can't you do this in post?
Yeah, is this something that we could have done beforehand, or? I see.
Okay.
Gosh darn. Okay, so today we are going to be reviewing the 2019 movie. We can do that better.
Yeah.
Today we are going to be reviewing the 2019 movie Uncut Gems. It's a movie that was written and directed by the brothers Benny and Josh Safdie. I think I'm pronouncing that last name correctly.
Correct.
And it stars Adam Sandler, Julia Fox, Idina Menzel, or Adele Dazeem to John Travolta. It's got a lot of like the Weeknd is in this movie. Not Kevin Durant.
Kevin Garnett.
Yes. Just a lot of
Keith Stanfield.
Like aside from Adam Sandler and Idina, like
there's a lot of good actors in this movie other than Adam Sandler
and some people whose firsts.
Julia Fox. That's her first movie. She definitely was an interesting character. Although if you listen to her talk about the movie, she says she's not playing a character. That's basically her. So,
She's kind of crazy, actually.
well, yeah, I couldn't tell.
She was born in Italia.
You know, my favorite character in this movie who doesn't get enough credit is the Lakeith Stanfield.
He was pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Lakeith Stanfield is great.
I think everybody played their part.
I think he was
well.
one of my favorites. Yeah, he played L in Death Note. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Sorry for bothering you. Was fantastic.
That was
I thought you were
a
apologizing.
fucking curveball.
yeah.
Me and my
It's a
friend
fantastic
Brian went
movie.
saw
And then you're
that.
like, did I take acid in the
Yeah,
middle
I
of
was
this?
like, this literally, it didn't go in the
Didn't
left field.
expect
It went to a
horsecock.
completely different sports stadium in that one. Yes, that is exactly what.
What else you got? You got a description? Got some more names?
So yeah, I'm going to read the synopsis of this movie, which there are shitty synopsises everywhere about this. Doesn't do it justice, but I'll read the best one.
Synopsis: Jews everywhere.
So a charismatic jeweler makes a high stakes bet that could lead to the windfall of a lifetime.
He stressed jeweler.
In a precarious high wire act, he must balance business, family, and anniversaries, I was about to say, on all sides in pursuit of the ultimate win. That does not even do this justice, this movie, but we're going to get into what this movie is about. But first, we're going to make the rounds and have us all give our rating on this. So we're going to start with Jews first. Lonnie.
Oh man! So the first time I watched this movie, I really liked it. If you would have asked me my opinion on this movie before I watched it again, I would have ranked this movie really high. But then you made me watch it again, and I kind of went in with the knowledge of what I was watching, and then I watched Adam Sandler act, and I was like, God, this guy is dog shit. Like, I can't not watch him and when he does this, and I'm like, that's the fucking goat. That's the goat on the back of the pickup truck.
Hey,
And-
superimpose me.
And at times he was really good. And like, how can a Jew act too Jew? It's crazy.
I don't know. You tell us.
But the story was a good story. It was a neat concept. The story of the stone, like from someone who is into spirituality and into putting power into things, the story of the stone and being something you can put yourself into is a neat concept. In actual practice, though, I think the movie was kind of sloppy. Watching it the second time, it was kind of predictable.
Shit.
You saw it.
The first time, no, I mean like the things, like the setup was kind
I
of.
knew that was coming. They didn't change it.
Shut up! Let me do my review. But I'd still give it. I'd give it a 6.
I called that. I told Justin before you got here today, I was just like, I just know Lonnie's going to hate on this movie.
I don't hate on it. It's a good movie.
He's going to give it, I said I said a 4 or 5. So he actually gave it higher. So mazel tov.
Eat
Good
dick.
on you. Let me get a good star in here.
Well, let's go over to John. Let's get his.
John's gonna shit on it more than I do because he's racist.
What does that have to do with anything?
He
So-
hates all Jews. You should see the way he looks at me.
I do.
Why do you think I put the lamp down so I can stare at you like that?
It gives you a little bit more ambiance around your eyes.
Anyway, so when this came out, what was it, Christmas 2019?
Ish. 13th of December 2019.
At this point, there was months and months and months of, this is Adam Sandler's Oscar. Like, this is what it is. This is what it is. And I'm like, okay. I went into it thinking, all right, let's see what he's got. You know, I've seen Punch Drunk Love and shit like that, but let's give it a shot. Went into it, and to sum up, basically, we'll talk about more of it later, but I was disappointed because that's not an Oscar performance. Like, I think Adam Sandler is the worst actor in this movie, and I'm not saying that he's doing a bad job. I just don't think he's better than his peers.
I don't think the
Kevin
guy with
Garnett is literally the best actor in this entire movie.
I don't even think he knows he was acting.
Well, that's what he said. I did a lot of press tour videos this morning, Fallon, stuff like that. And Kevin Garnett, he's like, I literally was just like myself, basically. So
He said he takes direction well.
yeah. So I thought he was the best actor in this whole movie. Before I saw it, I thought it was 100% predictable. I literally looked over to my friends and I told them word for word what was going to happen, and word for word happened. I think it's a good story, but with a better lead could be better. I haven't revisited it until this week, and so I remembered not liking it and went into it this time, and it's a little better. I noticed the story's better. I noticed cinematography stuff that's better. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to only give it a 6.
See, with the same opinion, just completely backwards.
Yeah, like I don't know.
See, I think the guy with the broken leg had the worst acting. I'm like, you're not.
Oh, in the beginning, that fucking guy.
He was also dropped somewhere in the middle when he was.
And we'll
showing
get into it here, but
Well, Justin, I know there's no midges in this movie, but
yes,
what
there
did you
is.
think?
When she was in her lingerie and opened up her leg, you saw a little bit of a
Julia Fox's ass is the best part of this movie.
probably
That was
minus
an
the
uncut
Howie.
gem.
Minus the Howie.
Shit.
All right, Justin, let's hear yours.
Okay, so today is the first day that I saw it. I put it off. I had some internet issues, so I was kind of working with a lot of stuff. I usually prepare as early as I can, but yeah, I did really like this movie. I wouldn't agree that it's the worst performance, and I wouldn't agree that it's maybe Oscar winning. Going into this, I mean, I seen the trailers. I actually knew the ending. It was spoiled for me, which for me personally, I don't really care for spoilers. I think it just makes me want to see something more. It's like, oh, that's what happens. I want to see it. So I knew he was going to be offed at the end. Sorry for you guys getting spoiled. This is what this is.
Yeah, I don't know why you're listening at this point.
Yeah, that's on you. But
I think you watched the wrong movie because he does not get off at the end of this movie.
he got off towards the end of the movie.
Oh,
He said he came.
I mean, he literally, he's like, oh, I'm gonna come.
that's true.
But
Touche.
yeah, I was under the impression, especially from the trailer, that this is going to be like a high anxiety driven. And I didn't get too much of the anxiety, but I think the piece was really well done. Like for him, for the character, for Howard. Yeah.
Howard Ratner.
Yeah. For Howard Ratner's character himself. Yeah. He's experiencing that anxiety, but like for the camera work, I don't think you're selling it. It was really well filmed. Like there's not too many flaws as far as like continuity and all this other stuff. I mean, like things look really well done, but storyline, for me personally, it's not one of those things that I care for as far as that, but I can take a movie and watch it and enjoy what it is. It's not my lifestyle, but it was really good. So I would give a 7.5.
That was a terrible freak. What happened? Ring.
It's on my
Before
phone. It was on
yesterday, it was a 4.5. So it went up to a 6. If that, I mean,
Gross.
to be fair.
All right.
All right,
Well-
Mr. Movie Suggester.
For me, I like Adam Sandler's movies, his older movies. Some of his newer stuff, I can tell that comedy movies are not what they used to be. But I loved him because he adds that random humor in all of his movies that I love, that cracks me up. This is the first movie I saw of his where he plays something serious. It's not a comedy role. And I enjoyed him in this movie, unlike majority of you fellas. From the get-go, this movie gave me the most anxiety any movie has ever given me, and that anxiety went all the way to the very end. Unlike Justin, I didn't know the ending where he was going to get offed, and so that really surprised me. And then when his cousin, it's his cousin in the movie that gets shot in the head too.
His
brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law.
Yeah.
When he gets shot in the head at the end of the movie too, I was like, what the fuck? And just the way they filmed it, it was very real. And like his reaction when he got shot in the head is what I would expect somebody that got shot in the head, like the shock value. And like just the way that the blood just slowly started dripping out of his forehead where he was shot, it was just like made me sick to my stomach. Same way that the movie Alpha Dog, sorry, Lonnie, I know you hate that movie. That ending
That makes no sense to me.
What?
He hates that movie.
Is dog
yeah.
shit.
No, it's Alpha.
Yeah,
Dog.
but it's
That's a true fucking story.
but that
I
ending
bet the
made
real
me-
life incident sucked too.
It made me sick to my stomach as well as this.
Too
And that's
soon.
what stuck with me was this. And everything about this movie I enjoyed. Yeah, there are some parts that aren't the greatest, but overall, I guess I'm going to be giving this the highest rating out of everybody here. And I'm going to be giving it an 8.
Now, I think I shot myself in the foot when I watched this because before I watched
No,
this,
you burned your feet.
I think I shot myself in the foot because before I watched this, I watched Snatch, which is just a
That much better.
strictly
Yeah.
better version of
That's
Uncut Gems.
That's your whole reason behind Alpha Dog too, is that, I watched this movie and they did it better.
I watched Girl Next Door.
Everything is better than Alpha Dogs. I watched a cat
you're in
shit
an
on a bird
extreme
cage.
minority
That was
on
probably one of my bigger. Wait, what did you say? 8.5?
8.
8?
Are your headphones not working with this new?
They are, but I'm just trying to keep
He's doing
things-
too much. over
Yeah,
there.
I have a lot over here.
Great.
Anyways, so I'll wrap it back around and say that gives us a BPT rating of 7.
Why I hate that. I hate that sound effect so much.
It used to be on the board,
sounds like
but
a
I have to use it
fart
off my
through a
phone right
thong.
now. But anyways, Lonnie, that was one of my bigger, I guess, shots with you is like, when you watch a movie, you do compare it to a lot of the things. You don't take it for what it is.
Well, and this was my second viewing of it. When I first saw the movie, I seen it through Jeremy's eyes.
Right.
I had the excitement of watching it. Like I said, I was very naive going into it. I didn't know what to expect. I was kind of overtaken by the environment and whatnot. I don't know if I was more naive. I was less bitter because it was 2019. I seen it in the theater before COVID hit. I thought the world was a better place. I was in California, so
Except for jewelers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a different environment. I think I enjoyed it better then. Watching it now in a different scenario and kind of being tarnished by the fact that I knew what was going on and I watched it with a purpose, it took so much of it away from me. I tried to take that into account when I was watching it and watching it more favorably, but it still put that sour taste in my mouth.
Gotcha.
Well,
I
that's
think
what's great about this podcast is different views.
kind of the same. Like I was led on primarily by the trailer. The trailer gives you all the hard hitter, it seems like. So it's the creative angles when you're following him like through a hallway and all this. But it was pretty, I don't want to say mediocre. It was more grounded to actually watch it in its entirety.
Well, and the thing with it too is like you're going through New York City and not the nice part of New York City, the dingy underworld, bleak part of New York City, the dingy backlot, gross, kind of skeezy part of New York City. Because to be honest,
Is there a nice part of New York City?
well, there's the tourist part of New York City with the lights and the glamour and the Broadway. And to be honest, the Howard Ratner in this movie, you really can't call him a hero. He's kind of a scum.
He is.
Oh, yeah.
That's all. That's also like, you also can't call him the bad guy either.
No.
Because of Apple. Apple will not let anybody who is a bad guy operate an Apple or an iPhone. And he uses an iPhone. So.
Right. So you can't really, you're not happy when he succeeds, but you're not.
Me too.
You're not sad when he dies. So it's kind of like one of those, it's hard to invest
He
in the
had
character.
to die at the end of that movie. That was how that movie
to
had
have it
to
make
end.
sense.
To
Yeah.
make anything make sense, any kind of learning experience, anything in that movie, he had to die at the end of that movie.
So in essence, you're watching it as Julia Fox is the final girl. She's the one who has the most to lose because she was the only one faithful through the whole entire movie, maybe with exception of his wife. Like everyone else had an ulterior motive. She could have went and shacked up with The Weeknd and kind of relented a little bit.
She tried almost.
Definitely did.
It's implied.
I did
Shit
get
was hiked up. She said, give me a second as she.
I did get flashbacks of John and his ex Amanda when they were arguing outside the club.
Was she shacking up with The Weeknd?
Yeah, she was.
Probably.
Ouch. Anyways,
Like Lonnie said though, like he took in, like he thinks he liked it better the time period you watched it the first time.
Right.
I literally had gotten a ring back 2 weeks before seeing this movie and was trying to find a place. So I took that into effect too of my negative review on it. So like I said, it did go from a 4.5 to a 6, but it's just, I think it was so overhyped with this Oscar performance crap.
Yeah, I don't think it was Oscar worthy in any stretch of the imagination.
Like,
no.
What, Ford versus Ferrari, Knives Out, those movies came out that same time. Like, he's not better than any of those people in those movies. I also think that Lakeith Stanfield is better in Knives Out than he was in this movie.
Right.
Too,
And now, to be fair, for Adam Sandler quality acting from some of his other performances, I thought this was a shining light on his IMDb
right. And
credits.
the only negativity about it is the hype is working against it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard to take him serious as an actor, like I said, because when he tries to be serious and tries to get aggressive, you hear those same squeaks and that same volume that you're used to associating with him yelling at his friends when he's drunk at a pool.
like Big Daddy and stuff. Yeah.
well, speaking of Adam Sandler in this movie, his wife was the one that encouraged him to take this role. And they actually, the Safdie brothers reached out to him back in 2012 to do this movie. Yeah, they wanted to do it. And I forget, I had it written down, and of course, it's in my notebook at home, but Kevin Garnett was not the first.
Amari Stoudemire.
That's it. Yeah. Yes, was the first NBA player that they were going to reach out for it. Let's move over to Kevin Garnett because I'm not an NBA fan whatsoever. I hate basketball. I think it's the worst sport. My opinion, doesn't matter. So the name sounded familiar, but I first time I watched this movie was under the impression that the person playing Kevin Garnett was an actor, and I thought that he was very good at it. And then when I found out that he really was an NBA player, I was like, holy shit.
yeah, he's
like
pretty
this
decent.
guy is actually a
Those
standout
the
in
games
this
in the
movie.
movie are from real life games
Oh, yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was definitely, and I'd mentioned this before when John was talking, was that people were telling him he's such a great actor, and he says, no, I just take direction well. And I was like, as a director, that's kind of a neat way to hear an actor describe their performance, is like, I'm not good, I just take direction well. So
The first introduction with him where they keep on telling him to, don't lean on the glass, don't lean on the glass. And then I'm like, he's going to break it. And then, they're having like one of the final things. I'm like, he's leaning on the glass. And then it goes through, and I didn't know that.
I laughed at that part because right before it breaks, Adam Sandler's like, Kevin, don't lean on it, or something like that. And then it breaks.
And then when they come back to return and they're stuck in the little thing, I'm like, Kevin, lean on the glass,
Can we all disagree that Furby necklace was the ugliest fucking thing you've ever seen in your
Furbies
life?
aren't that.
Furbies are creepy anyway. Yeah,
they're
but
overrated.
that fucking thing was disgusting.
Can we also admit that Adam Sandler saying "I'm gonna come" is gonna live in my nightmares for the rest of my
That's
life?
how I get off anymore.
Is it?
It just doesn't do anything for me anymore.
I have to play.
John, you got some explaining to do. But that scene between where he's hiding in the closet and Julia Fox is in her fucking lingerie taking pictures of
best scene of
herself
the
and
whole
sending it
fucking
to him.
movie.
Oh my god.
It was a really good scene. It was also very uncomfortable. I'm like, just come out of the closet already.
Right.
That's-
You just wanted to say that, didn't you?
oh,
He's just, and I don't.
Look at it. Look at it.
I'm saying it.
Yeah. The starting off of it, I thought it was really cool, especially how they also wrap that around, because they kind of go into like a, you're in Ethiopia, you got all these people speaking like what, Somali or Arbaric or whatever, and they find the little opal, the black opal, and then they go into like a little more universal, straight into like his colon. So I liked the whole universe setting because like with like stars and all this beauty, it's kind of made from like chaos and randomness and all that, but
In Adam Sandler's colon.
chance, and his colon is also made
it's a
of
beautiful place.
randomness and chance and chaos, and that's kind of the whole synopsis of his character himself, is like, because he's a big gambler, he acts on impulse, so everything is all about chance and randomness.
Yeah.
But he thinks he has like that sense of power, kind of what Lonnie was talking about, how pretty much, was it called something,
Opal.
the opal, the Enter the Stone or something like that.
Oh
where-
yeah, the stone putting your
intention
energy
and
your
yeah.
intention into the stone,
and that's supposed to give you power. So, but
So let me pose this question to all three of you.
no.
If you were in Adam Sandler or Howard Shue and you owned this jewelry shop and you had this, what you thought was $1 million opal stone, and you had a famous NBA player come in and ask to borrow it for a night, would you let him
don't think I
borrow
would.
it like Howard did in this movie?
Because Howard is trying to secure his, not just, his future income as well. Like if he gets his word out, his status up, he operates under an illusion of control. So he thinks he has more power than what he actually does, because he counts his wins and ignores his losses. When he's up, and when he's down, he's fighting to get back up. So he doesn't count that. But definitely not. Definitely not. I do not act on impulse, and I like to try to secure my ass. And especially when I owe so many people money already at this point.
Yeah. I think I would go with him. I think I would let him borrow it, but I would be a shadow.
You'd be like, hold my pocket.
good idea.
Walk with me.
John?
And then when he does win, be
not at
like,
all.
yeah, that's because of me. Come to my jewelry shop, buy my shit.
You said no.
No, not at all.
Well, that's what I like.
It's because none of y'all are Jews and you don't think like a Jew.
That's one of the things about this movie that gave me anxiety, is because it's like I thought Adam Sandler did great at that part, acting like I don't know about, but it's just like he was torn. But I was like one of those people where I was sitting at home the first time I watched it, and I was just like, "Don't do it, man, don't do it." But it was just like when he handed it off to him, like I'm just like, "Fuck!" Like this whole movie, it was always just one thing after the other, and God,
It is
even
very
talking
intense
about it.
They're
throughout the whole
using
thing.
Yeah.
the idea of power, whereas where he's got what, Damani, was his name?
Damani.
Damani, yeah.
To fuck yourself.
When Damani is there and he's trying to vouch for his boy with, Kevin, and yeah, they're trying to
Keith?
kind of operate off of each other, kind of passing the ball back and forth, if you will, in so many words. So not that either one of them gives a fuck about the other, but they both know both of them make each other money.
Right.
So they have to kind of pass here and there.
The only thing better than a con man is a better con man.
It's like, even with like the, I guess, mining of an actual opal or the gems, the uncut gems, these most rare findings. It's like you can control where you dig, but you can't control the configuration of what happens with it. They're all going to be totally different. So that kind of speaks on Howard's character the most. Well, pretty much everybody's, but Howard's, you see that, and it kind of goes back into that. So when he gets shot at the very end, it's going into that universe. So Howard is pretty much an uncut gem himself. He's being forged through all the pressures and stuff from every which way.
Did you know Adam Sandler got choked out on the set of this movie?
Yeah.
I'd imagine.
When the guys were beating him up and stuff like that in the car.
Oh, in the car, they
They the guys weren't actors that were in there, and so they didn't know. Like, they thought Adam Sandler was in character when he was like tapping out and stuff. And yeah, he got choked out for real.
That was a lot.
Good on him.
A lot of the conversation when I was watching, like, the Fallon clips and the Conan O'Brien clips. He would talk about, people were really kicking his ass. Like, he had the stunt coordinator, and they were like completely ignoring what he said. And like one of the guys is like, "Oh my God, Mr. Deeds, I love you," blah blah blah, and then choked him out like 5 seconds later.
One of the characters I feel the most bad for is definitely like his older son. It's because his older son is definitely following in the footsteps, starting with his gambling, and he's still a teenager. He's kind of running similar impulses.
Yeah, the gambling ring on the
It seems as though the mom and the younger child, the daughter seems checked out, but yeah, they notice his wrongdoings, and like it almost feels as though he's too far gone. So kind of going back to like the opal kind of configuring itself, like you have no control with that. There is a sense of free will, but like what 2 or 3 characters already said to him, it's like, you've done this to yourself. You did this to yourself. It's like he fucked himself up many a time. I think I had a bigger point with that. Whatever.
I understand him and his wife separating, but how can his family know he has an apartment and like shit's not going on?
Good question. It's New York, so I assume things like that over there is being close to work, or maybe.
I think it would be the complete opposite, because New York apartments are stupid fucking expensive.
I think she would know that, because if they're handling finances together, she would see the outings.
If he's always hurting for money too,
especially if she knows where his apartment is,
right?
And
I gotta stop by the apartment. Well, that's
like, this probably runs you about this much.
It's a really nice apartment too.
Well, I'll tell you what. When he goes to the apartment, after he told her to get out, and he stops by, and that Madonna song "Rain" is playing, I thought that was a perfect choice for a song. Like, it just gave like such a weird, odd feeling, because I was expecting him to find her with a bullet in her head, like she killed herself, and I was like, man, with that music playing, that would have been creepy. But
yeah, she was kind of hard to pin down, or easy to pin down for him, but hard to pin down for.
I see what you did there.
But yeah, like I didn't know where her intentions lied. She seemed as though, like, when you see her in the club and she makes eye contact with him, but she tries to like avoid him. Like, what's really going on here?
Welcome to my life.
Women playing games like always.
Let's talk about the goons for a second. The Phil and Nico and his brother-in-law. Who was in charge of that? They were just goons.
It came off
2 super aggressive goons. It almost came off like brother-in-law was the head of the goons.
That's what I saw at first.
But yet it really seemed like Phil and Nico were the ones in charge. Like, I get your heavies are going to do the heavy work.
Yeah.
But like, if brother-in-law is the boss and you just run out and shoot the brother, like, you've got some fucking hell to pay.
I think there was a little slip up, because when Phil says something along the lines of like, I'm going to do to get my money back, to get Arno's money back. It's like he said himself first, almost prefacing that he's in it for himself, not necessarily for, because when everybody's acting on impulse here.
Right.
Like Arno.
Who's Arno?
In the, like the dinner party, or what is it? What is it called? What were they having? The Shabbat.
Yeah, Shabbat, doing the Lord's Prayer, yeah.
They.
Thank you, Lonnie.
I usually like to get my food pre-blessed before I eat it. I'm like, it's already prayed for.
By the way, super disrespectful making jokes during the Lord's Prayer, especially when Hebrew's involved. Fuck.
Well, he was doing the English.
No, but when Hebrew's involved, that's like a line you don't. When Grandma's doing the Hebrew,
he's messed up the special prayer. You got to say things.
Lonnie's getting pissed. Calm down, Lonnie.
I want to know what grandma's doing
shit.
a Hebrew in the middle of dinner.
You're getting so Heidi mighty.
I'm just getting scared. Like, I know it's a movie, but fuck.
It looks like 4 of the candles came out of your.
I will say this will be so when we're going to get to the point later on where we say what we would change in the movie. That's one of the things. That's the thing I would change is so the brother-in-law when he first comes into the picture. I mean, he's a bad, tough guy, like in charge, like kick his ass, beat him up. I thought his turn to feeling sorry for Howard was a little too quick and not very realistic to where after he gets shot in the head, I could see like, oh, fuck, well, I didn't mean for that to happen. But before that, you could see he was like all of a sudden just like he was no longer in charge.
They dangled him out of a window on his command. You know? Yeah. So to even pose the threat of death or not want it to go that far, I mean, that says a lot. He was overly aggressive, and maybe it's just like the Jew trying to covet his own money or get back something. This was something.
Whoa.
Exactly. I'm with you on that.
Midges last week. Jew.
Man.
FCC. Nice to meet you.
What I'm saying, like everybody is kind of like their own Jim. Like when he sat in that behind the glass, you know, and he kind of
shimmy curse.
baked himself. Like it wasn't until because he was cutting Howard off pretty much every single time. Like I don't want to hear shit. Give me my money. I don't want to hear shit. Give me my money. Phil comes in and pretty much tries to strong arm and outshine the master, if you will.
Well, he fucks his uncle too.
Yeah,
I
and
didn't see that scene.
Well.
it's in the it was deleted.
In the uncut.
Yeah. So when when Arno sits in that glass and like you can see the screws turning, like, wait a second. He knows what he's talking about. He's hitting his 26 points there. He's got a little bit more. He realized he's going to probably be richer than what he expected. I assume with like collateral or the investment. What do you want to?
The VIG on it.
The inflation.
Pretty much inflation. What's the word? Interest. With the interest, I would assume he would pay Arnold back with interest. But
Did you guys like the score of this movie?
I did. I thought the music
it was overbearing.
I think that's good though.
I didn't think it fit
because this thing was
it. So this movie is tense throughout. I'll give it that. But what takes the tenseness away is I'm focusing on this fucking music the whole time. And for some people, the music is why it's so intense. But I think it's just too distracting.
I think it was supposed to, especially around like the club scenes and stuff, where you can't necessarily understand what's being said. Mm-hmm. But I think that adds to the havoc or the chaos of what's going on because he's trying to understand, you're trying to understand what's going on in the story itself. So it does add to the.
I feel like especially in the first 10 minutes, I don't feel like the music needed to be the volume it was in that first 10 minutes.
Well, that, and I don't think it fit.
No,
what's going on at all. I think because when
style, maybe not.
Yeah.
But using it as a device, I think it worked well.
Yeah, I could see it working for some people, but for me, it was just way too distracting. Personally,
for somebody who acts on impulse or whatever, I think the distractions are necessary. So I agree with that. Well, yeah, that part.
He's like jerking off his microphone over there.
What did you just say, well, Justin? You're like, Lonnie, did you have anything?
Did you guys notice that when they were watching ESPN, it was like, turn over to ESPN, and TNT was everywhere on the screen?
I did not.
Yeah.
Sponsors?
No, because NBA finals are never on ESPN. ESPN hardly ever shows any finals. It's always stole up by networks.
There's a
TNT has the right.
Howard's opening is literally his opening. So like just like his closing is literally his closing, him pretty much dying, and So I like how like the colon screening.
What do you think Julia did with the money?
Probably kept it.
The weekend.
So
probably
spin it for the weekend. I liked how his colon screening saw some like warnings, and then like the next scene you see Howard in like this bright yellow. It's kind of more of a caution, like slow down. So you get that off the start. That's one of the. We're gonna move into that now.
Into colons?
No, what? The colon.
He
was being warned at the doctor, like you might have something. Be aware of something. He's got the yellow shirt that's like, hey, slow down, yeah. But then,
that was kind of nice. And when all the chaos was going on and his life was falling apart, he was like, he got the call that he didn't have colon cancer.
Right. I think
like one shining light that he still had a chance.
And then he won a bet and got shot in the face.
What did you guys think of him after he was shot in the head and died, having the big grin on his face?
His grin that he used throughout the movie, like, it definitely doesn't seem to be like he was trying to be. Might have been the facial hair or something like that, but
Those were fake teeth.
were they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah, you
that's
could
it.
easily
Yeah.
tell.
I wasn't even.
Well, they decided that was a decision they made that day to have him after he was shot in the head to have that grin on his face because they just thought this is probably the happiest he's ever been in his life. I mean, he was excited the whole time. He turned around, bam. So it's like they thought, let's have you have a smile on your face still. And it's like, to me, I didn't care for that smile. That is something else that I would have changed. I would have rather had it be just like what I would imagine somebody that just got shot in the head would look like.
Fall straight that back down.
I thought
that was
just
probably
Adam
his
Sandler's
last
face.
expression. I mean,
Yeah. After the auction,
Which, by the way, his dad in the movie, can't think of the actor's name, but it took me the longest time to realize where the fuck I seen that guy
Independence
from.
Day?
No.
Oh.
The TV show Taxi.
oh yeah,
Is that the same guy from Independence Day, though? The dad from Independence Day?
I don't think so.
wasn't he in From Dusk Till Dawn
Weren't you in Dust Till Dawn?
as the dad?
He was in Taxi and Dear John. Those are the only two things I know that he was in.
Anyways, well, after the
No.
auction where they're walking and then Arno and the goons kind of like rough him up and
Punch him in his fucking Adam's
the thing
apple.
is I like how they do a lot of wraparounds. They a lot of like kind of closing the circle, tightening your loop and all. Where throughout the entire movie, the people that he's kind of messing over, he's like, can I get you a water? Do you want a water? Can I get you water? Get this man a water. We got this water here. And then at the very end, well, at the auction, after the auction, they give him the water by throwing him in the fountain. It's like, take your fucking water. We'll
He
fuck
is
you
the
over.
guy from Independence Day.
Is he?
Yeah, he's Jeff Goldblum's dad.
And
That drives him to the.
I could see it.
the
House, right?
dad from Dusk Till Dawn is Harvey Keitel.
Oh,
He's also in A Beautiful Mind.
Here's
Some other movies.
yeah, there's this going back to just like the
That's where I
stones
know
themselves, or
Independence
the
Day
idea, the concept of when so many people have like these stones or rocks and they try to be very holistic and like healing the world and trying to do all this, but they're taking these gems from people who are pretty much are actually dying. People are dying just to mine these for you, and you think that you're deserving of it, or you add all this extra.
They're not
to it.
dying. They're just breaking their leg.
It wasn't believable. He was just like, fuck my life.
I mean, that's
Take
kind
me
of
out of
how
here.
I would be, I think.
But yeah, like the black opal.
Why is it got to be black?
That's what it wasn't even black.
It wasn't.
I
That's
did
what I'm
like though,
saying.
as like a I don't know, like a last straw or so when he finally takes it back to his office and he's plugged full of tissue and gauze and
Finally
he
breaks
takes it
down.
Yeah, he takes it out and like he's crying and like it's as though he's trying to scrub it of any sort of luck that can, like just give me something, like he sees that other people believe in things like this so much that he's willing to give it a cause at his lowest low. But that was kind of a cool thing.
I like how he assumed it was going to be worth so much money, but it's like something's only as worth as
what
much
somebody
as
will buy,
would,
yeah.
it would pay for it. Like,
Yeah.
so that was a gross underestimate, though.
Yeah.
It was like what?
I don't know why
20%, not even.
Why would he keep it in the auction if he knows he can get it somewhere else? It's
I
like
think
pull
once
it,
you
pull the whole
turn
thing.
it in, like you have to do it.
Yeah,
Once it's
there might
it's
be
appraised or
appraised by
something
their
like that.
appraisers. Yeah. The average cost of a black opal
See, that doesn't
right
make sense
now.
to me though. Like if I wanted appraised and then throw it in an auction, you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
So you can
specific
have it appraised by
think-
your appraisers.
Yeah.
And you can have it at that price, but if you're significantly wrong, no one's going to bid on it. Or you could have it appraised
he
by
was.
their appraisers. Yeah.
He sat with it for 14 months knowing it's about to be in his hands or will be in his hands sometime. And so I think he just, again, it's acting on impulse. He also made mention that he didn't use his appraiser. So
Yeah.
he just tried to jump when he got the chance.
Right now, with the average cost on opal and the tangible goods, it's $10,000 a carat. With that being 3,000 carats, all the zeros, it'd be like $300 million or
That doesn't seem right.
$30 million.
You're
Even that.
No, because it'd be
you're supposed to be good at math.
3 times 10 and all the
He's
zeros.
a Jew.
Yes.
3 from the 10,000, 3 from the 1,000, 30 times 10, 30 million.
Did Kevin Garnett say how much he would pay for it?
170. Well, 175 is what he agreed, but
he said-
165 is where he
I thought
stopped.
I thought in the room he said 225, like before it went to auction.
He went.
I don't think he agreed to 225.
He didn't agree to 225, but that was
That's
his
what I mean.
offer.
The before
Gotcha.
before the auction.
Yeah,
He did the 175, but
I
he
couldn't
gave the
remember if there was
9%
an
to
exact number.
yeah. What's his name?
No, man.
Yes. Braids.
Demony.
Starting off, you see like the Ethiopian workers and the Chinese laborers and all that. There's this one who I felt is kind of more of what the better people in this movie kind of symbolize or adhere to. So like there's like this common miner and he sees the struggles of the process.
Miners, not miners.
A gem must stay the course of the precious to forge into something beautiful, but that's like the worth. We gravitate towards novelty and what others deem as worthy, as what John was saying. So he sees his fellow man and the bone sticking out of his leg and he's like, well, this shit ain't worth it. Like he's more consumed with his relationships, these people, rather than the items, something that's just going to be a shiny object. And I would say like even one of Howard's workers, Yussi, was that his name? Yes, Yussi. He's kind of like the same like that Ethiopian dude. Like it's not about the money. He can go somewhere else and make some stuff, but it's about the principle of the people, like the respect. He said he invested like 8 years of his life just to help him out. He pulled him out of shit shows for thousands of times or so. But like he was there for him, but because Howard is so distracted, he seems to push away the people who matter the most, the people who will stay. Like his wife could have been cheating on him, but she was there for him the whole time until the very end, where she had enough, where there's nothing that she could see past that wasn't this piece of shit.
Dudes, we need to quit fucking doing podcasts and go start mining for gems.
You want to do it right now?
Fucking a gram of pink diamond is $1 million a gram. Or not a gram, a carat.
Where the fuck are we going to go?
Why are we talking about vegetables?
A ruby.
Yeah.
A ruby is 1.18 per carat.
What's an emerald?
It's a red gem.
No, what's an emerald?
The price of it.
The price. Yeah.
That's my birthstone. That's why I'm asking.
He's going to
Alexandrite, $70,000 a carat. We could do this.
Can you appraise this graphite for me, please? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where should we go?
Ethiopia, obviously.
I was going to say Lincoln.
The beginning of the movie definitely made me want to watch Blood Diamond.
That was a good movie.
I fucking love that movie.
That's because you love Leonardo DiCaprio.
I mean, it's true, but also it's a good movie.
I put the coat on.
No, when the guys are locked in the little room at the very end, right before shit hits the fan, or I guess shit's hitting the fan constantly the entire movie, but...
He called the shit poop.
Yeah. So Phil pretty much points the gun at the bulletproof glass, and then, there's like, it's bulletproof glass, you can't get through this. It's like, why don't you just start shooting at the door? You can get out then. And then dumbasses who kill the two people in there, you're supposed to have somebody pressing the button and one door has to open or close until the other one can open. So it's like, you guys fucking trapped yourself in there.
That's what I kind of thought too.
Yeah.
I was like,
there's no way you guys are getting out. You have
I
a
just
file.
credited it to movie magic.
You're 2-3 bullets rounds down.
They could have gone out the window in the office.
Yes. This movie had hard connections with like a myth that I thought was really compelling as well. When you were talking about going out the window, they could have flied. So you guys are kind of familiar with the tale of or the myth of Daedalus and Icarus, where Icarus was like flying too close to the...
Burn his wings up from flying too close to the sun, yeah.
I feel like this movie itself is kind of like a classical retelling of Daedalus and Icarus, where Howard is pretty much a combination of both of them. So like Daedalus is pretty much a skilled craftsman. He was kind of forged by the gods, so they believe. And like he killed his nephew who was an apprentice, and he pretty much was banished from his homeland and made his way to Crete, where King Minos...
Crete, Nebraska?
Yeah.
I dated a girl from there once.
But anyways, he went to Crete, and King Minos, he had his own nefarious stuff where he was cursed, and they cursed his wife to be pregnant with a minotaur. And King Minos thought that Daedalus had his hand in something like that. So Daedalus' son Icarus knew about this and kind of formed a little bit of jealousy about it. So I guess I wrote something down here. So I'll just read this because it's probably a little bit more constructed than my thoughts right now. But so King Minos was cursed with the Minotaur as a son, and Daedalus was to blame for it. Daedalus was made to construct a labyrinth and was soon a prisoner of his own creation. When his son Icarus tried to mend his bond and save his father, they went to escape using wax wings and much of the feathers from the remains of the Minotaur's feast. Daedalus warned Icarus not to fly too low, as the water can pull him under, or fly too high due to the sun melting the wax. Icarus got headstrong and let his impulses get the best of him. So he built his own prison. Like you can see everything that he's doing. Like he could have paid his brother-in-law off probably many times over up until that point. But any sort of dough that he got, he put it on bets. It's like you are trapping yourself even further. You're adding extra layers. You got so many people coming out of, and they don't give a shit about you. Mm-hmm. So when he finally was up, when he was high, when he was flying, he didn't want to go too low and get pulled under. So he tried to go even higher at the very end and bet it all on. And so his wax wings pretty much got burnt and fell to the rocks.
Moral of the story, 1-800-BETS-OFF. If you or anybody you know has a gambling problem.
Dude, I needed that shit when I was in college.
When I first turned 21.
Yeah, not only that, but
I didn't get that serious, but
because
I did lose vacation fund.
Icarus flew too high to the sun, and where they were doing all the bets was the Mohegan Sun. I thought that was kind of a cool correlation. I know, right? Here we go.
Welcome to the club.
I mean, at least
more
that one's a
impressive
good
than anything.
one.
Yeah, no, that's what I was like. It wasn't like Jesus Christ. Here we go again. It was like Jesus Christ.
The first episode, I will admit, the first episode, the Pulp Fiction episode, like that blew
Everything
my
was on point.
fucking mind.
I'm trying to obtain. I don't know if I.
Can you open the door? His head's getting a little too big.
There it goes. His door at the very beginning, or outside his door, it says 805. It says KMH Gems 805, and which means that many blessings are coming your way. The universe has special plans for you. This does not mean, however, that you have to sit by and wait for things to happen for you. You have to play a role in creating the kind of life you desire. But that was his downfall, so that's all I got.
I got a couple fan reviews from some listeners.
No, you don't.
Oh, okay.
About this movie?
Yeah.
Nice.
First one is
From, oh, what is this?
You're speaking from a fan.
Oh, okay. So this
first one. It's please stop that.
You don't have to change your own voice.
It's a habit. So this first one's from Joe O'Connor. We know Joe very well. He's
that guy who bailed out on the podcast.
I talked to him yesterday about this movie.
Did you?
At work.
Right.
Yeah. I texted him yesterday. I was like, "What the fuck is your review?" He said he saw Good Time, which is one of the Safdie brothers' first movies with Robert Pattinson.
Surprisingly underrated actor, I'd say.
Who?
Robert Pattinson.
Oh, for sure. People
He's
just think of him as a
bogged down as,
sparkly ass vampire. But anyway, perhaps Good Time was one and done of greatness, or perhaps it was the start of a phase. If you ask most critics, Uncut Gems is even better, but to me, while it is a solid film with neon-drenched lighting and great acting, it is ultimately kind of dull. I was bored with this, and I hated every character except for Julia. Perhaps that is more for her being hot, but she did make me want to see her succeed in getting some money. The last act is quite tense and easily the best part of the film, but by that point I had hated everyone and I just wanted the film to end. For me, Good Time is their only film worth a damn. Here, this is a well-crafted cinema, but not enough for me to become a mark of the brothers Safdie, is what Joe said. And Joe, that kind of surprised me because Joe, I kind of give him shit sometimes because he literally loves every movie. Like, he is the biggest cinephile I know, basically.
He was probably just in a place.
I mean, maybe, but the movie kind of sucked. No, I'm just kidding.
Everywhere's.
And the other one, any thoughts on that review real quick? Or
I think it's pretty accurate.
Joe, you're fired.
Joe, I agree with Joe. I think it's a pretty accurate. The only thing I don't agree is the neon light. I think the most neon lights
It's
when
just
they
the
would
club
go to
scene.
Vegas and
Yeah, they didn't even get
which
their
was
black
a
light.
which was a nice contrast. Like when it would be dull and dingy, and then to be at the club and
Then he
like,
fought the
holy
weekend.
shit! Anyway,
Nice.
yeah, when he fought the week Monday through Friday.
that was another thing. I
fought the
think it was like
weekend.
Conan. He was like, yeah, the weekend was pushing me really hard. And he was like really grabbing me. I was like, Jesus,
This is acting.
Any other thoughts on Joe before I go to the next one here?
He's cute.
Okay.
So he gave it a 9.5. So go ahead and put that.
Our second review actually does have an out of 10. It's from Brian. Our friend Brian Corey is an avid listener. Really
Mazel
loves the
tov.
podcast. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Joe. Thanks for sending these in. And you guys could send in anytime.
That was the
Send
correct
them to me.
usage, by the way.
The martial law.
Because he's
Shalom.
a boy.
Put it on our fucking Facebook.
That was the
whatever.
wrong usage. Molotov.
Anyway, so he said Uncut Gems was a pleasant surprise coming from Adam Sandler in recent years. Prior to this film, his acting had become predictable and boring. Adam proved he should continue to do more serious roles. This film has you on the edge of your seat throughout, and you wonder if Howard will be able to dig himself out of the hole he has made for himself. This film is a much watched for Sandler fans, but falls short of the Oscar-worthy hype it was built up to be. He gives it a 7 out of 10. Thoughts?
Yes. The thing with like Adam Sandler, and I think it kind of goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyways. So Howard, in pretty much every single movie that Adam Sandler has done, is like most of his characters that he does has this abundance of like charm. And without that, if Howard wasn't charming, I would have no sympathy for the guy. Like my sympathy for him already is already pretty thin.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, he keeps making his own hole deeper, you know?
Yeah.
Literally.
But I mean,
There's
like,
no one to blame but himself.
most of his characters have to be beat down before they can rise up and like actually feel something and love something. And at the very end, when he finally made that phone call to his wife to try to protect his family, I'm like, now you want to?
Now.
Yeah.
Hey, sometimes better late than never, I guess.
Yes. I mean, he had a reinvention, a remolding, reforging of himself.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think Brian's review on it is pretty accurate.
You can't say that.
I'll say it again. Brian's review is pretty and that's all I have to say about that.
No, I do agree that Sandler characters up to that point were becoming pretty predictable. I think
That's
I think since come on, he's had a few good Netflix one like that. Murder mystery one was kind of fun.
I like
with Jennifer Aniston. Yeah.
I like the Halloween one.
I didn't watch that.
Herbie.
I heard good things though. Speaking of real quick, where do you guys rank this in an Adam Sandler movie? Verse is
middle.
It your top 3? Is it your,
No. Yeah, probably
because that's
towards
how
the
I was
middle.
like coming up with my ranking. I'm like, okay, I can't rank it. Like Big Daddy's probably my favorite Adam Sandler movie, and then
You're calling me a liar?
what's your name? We'll write it on the wall. Obviously Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison are classics. I really like Just Go With It, another one with Jennifer Aniston. I think that movie's really good.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, I love it.
A lot of
Just
his-
watch it for Jennifer Aniston and Brooklyn Decker in bikinis alone. But
Okay.
Nick Swartzen in that
If I
movie though
must.
Nick
kind of
Swartzen's-
is over. It's like at some point you're like, just shut the fuck up already, Nick. But
He's kind of like that in most movies, but that's
Fair.
part of his charm.
I mean, I guess.
I rank this in the middle, like Big Daddy, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore,
just said
50
those.
First Dates.
50 First Dates is great.
I now
love that
pronounce
movie.
you Chuck and Larry. All of his old stuff.
The Wedding Singer.
Yes,
I think that one's
that's above
overrated.
this. I think Uncut Gems is there, and then a lot of Adam Sandler's new stuff I don't care for, except for the Herbie Halloween one. That one was.
Have you seen Just Go With It?
I have not.
It's on Netflix right now. I recommend it. It's a good one. I enjoy that one.
Does
It's
Adam
also
Sandler
got
in a bathing suit?
Nicole Kidman's in it. It's good. The kids are really, really good in that one too.
Right on.
Is there anything anybody would change in this movie?
I'll start because I've been waiting to say this for a while,
shut
but I would change the main actor. I would change Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Who
If
would you
this was like a Bradley Cooper or something, I would have probably been more into the actual character.
No way would Bradley Cooper be able to play that character.
Absolutely. I don't think you've watched
Somehow.
Bradley Cooper movies then.
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper's one of the most underrated actors of our generation.
You know who I think would be an amazing role in this, and you're going to shit on me for it, but I think this would be a great role for Matthew McConaughey.
I'm not going to shit on it.
I will shit on you if you need me to.
Please?
Okay.
I mean, I can.
He's like a Bradley Cooper to me. I don't see him playing that role.
Like,
I think if you recast it, it would have to be, to me, it would have to be an unknown or a newbie just starting out.
I don't think people would care if it was a newbie, though.
It'd be more real to them.
Fair. I don't know. That's what I would change. I don't know. What about you, Justin?
I would change the lingerie to be nothing.
Fair. Fair.
Bring.
And then more
I don't got it.
more emphasis on that ass. No, I'm serious. That's not-
I don't know,
Fat,
like-
juicy.
As much as like watching the movie and you want to change things in the story as it's happening,
I want to die.
it's not the story if I
Sit on
change
my
it. So
face.
this
Oh,
is
sorry.
Jeez.
I think I've said it a few times. Like, this is probably one of my least favorite parts about this because I feel like I'm destroying the art, and sometimes the art destroys itself. So it's
Shit on it.
like, I don't know. Like, I think watching it, and probably because I was in crunch time, just trying to get through it, I think I'm satisfied. And this is my first watch too, so maybe when I watch it again, I can have a better answer. But right now, just the lingerie. That's it.
I mean, I concur with that.
Yeah.
Although that thong left very little to the imagination.
Lonnie doesn't want to change anything. He thought it was a perfect movie.
It's like a pencil in my hand.
I just don't think it's a movie for me. I think it's a fine movie. I think the people who like it are going to like it. It's just not a movie for me.
Did it go full Jew?
It might have went a little full Jew for me. But no, I think
Too much Jew.
I think I'm bringing back something old school for you guys. I think it did what it needed to do when it did it.
It's the story of my sex life.
You're welcome. No, I would leave it. I wouldn't touch a thing. Maybe, like I said, recast Adam Sandler. It would have to be a very select role. Maybe an Edward Norton. Fuck it.
Oh my God.
Did you say the tomato scores on this?
It was like 6.3, I think.
92% from critics and 52% from viewers. So,
Was it
that
6?
doesn't surprise me.
That was low.
I already earlier told what I would change with the brother-in-law. His transformation and his sudden change was a little too quick and not believable to me.
Yeah, I guess I could kind of see that as well. I was confused as where he was standing. And some people are just that way, though. Their body language doesn't really read fairly.
He was standing in front of the gun before he got shot.
Well, he put his hand, like, he's like, please don't. Like, when he was in the passenger seat of the car, like, he came off as, like, badass. Like, just shut your fucking mouth and, do all
I feel like Nico saw him being soft and just decided
Yeah, that's what I think, too.
to off him. This is my operation now.
Yeah. So, my favorite...
I said no water.
My favorite, least favorite, it says, and this is why nobody goes to the movies anymore. Where to start with this disgusting pile? I had heard Sandler on the Howard Stern show talking about this movie. They were talking about him winning an Oscar for Best Actor and possibly even Best Picture. I thought I wanted to see this. I love movies about real people, not superheroes, and thought that maybe Adam Sandler had finally gotten serious about acting in the same way Robin Williams did and putting out a real film. I was wrong on so many levels. Sandler just took Jonah Hill's character from The Wolf of Wall Street and cranked the Jewness up all the way up to 12. The music is off the camera, work is fast and out of focus, the storyline is non-existent, and within 15 minutes, I could not stand the main character. I don't think you're supposed to like the main character.
I think they did their job in the movie then.
That's the wrong group.
The only good thing about this movie is Kevin Garnett, but him being 8 feet tall, it's pretty unlikely he won't be making
6'9".
a lot of films at the end of the day. This is why people have quit watching movies and now watch TV series.
This is probably
Who
coming.
hurt them?
This is probably from somebody that's
There's
fat
several
as
of these.
fuck that just sits on their couch, hasn't even attempted to make anything from their life or attempted to make a movie or write anything. So.
But I mean, like they're entitled
It was Adam
to their
Sandler himself.
signed Adam S.
I didn't know Adam Sandler refuses to listen to reviews for his own movies.
Well,
Most of his movies we should know.
He's obviously knows what he's doing. Look, he's made a career.
Yeah,
out
he
of
gets
it.
to go to tropical vacations and pay his friends to make a movie.
Yeah, but here's the other thing too. It's because you've all, for the most part, pretty much mentioned it. It's like this is why you don't listen to them talk about like Oscar and award performances and stuff like that. Who gives a shit about that? Just I don't like listening to people hype up or somebody's. Okay. Anyways, Lonnie, you get the next pick of what the movie is.
I do get the next pick.
So
I was
what
gonna
are we
be
gonna be
I was
watching?
gonna be adventurous and make us go to the movie theater and see a movie, but
The kids need new shoes.
all our schedules are super busy over the next couple months with a bunch of projects. So I decided that we're gonna watch 2021's The Sadness. It is a Shudder original. Usually I vet my movies. This one I have not. So this movie, I have no idea what it's going to be like. Its tagline is the saddest, most violent, depraved zombie movie ever made. So should be
Poster
fun.
has Japanese.
It's
on
Japanese, yeah.
Oh,
So it should be good.
10 out of 10.
it.
Yeah.
Rob Jabba's.
All right.
Rob
So yeah,
Jabba's.
you can watch it on Shudder if you want to watch it and tag along with us during the episode.
Shudder.
Shudder.
All right. Well, that is Uncut Gems movie review. If you want to watch it, you can. It's not anywhere for free right now, but you can.
Do what I do. Buy a bunch of shit on Amazon and get a bunch of free credit and watch
There
it
you
for
go.
free.
But it's a little over 2 hours, the movie. So
2:15, yeah.
It's a lengthier movie, so make time for that. But
195 minutes or so.
so I guess the next time you hear us on the movie review, we'll be reviewing The Sadness, Lonnie's pick.
It's on AMC Plus.
So looking forward to that.
Is it?
Yep.
So gentlemen, it's time for us to go.
This is how I win.
Bye.
That's all I got.
Oh, okay. I was waiting for something else. Anyways, thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. This concludes our broadcast day.